Thank you very much for joining. My name is Darren Joseph from HCJ.tax. We're a team that seeks to demystify the sometimes confusing world of cross-border taxation. And today we have the honor and privilege of joining us, Claudia Vasconcelos. Please introduce yourself.
Well, thank you, Darren, first of all, for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be here, and thank you for the opportunity to discuss and explain the advantages of investing and living in Madeira. This is a topic that is very dear to me. I'm born and raised on the islands. I am currently head of business development of NewCo. We are a one-stop shop for investors and expatriates in Portugal. We're headquartered in Madeira. And most of my career has been dedicated and devoted to the attraction of foreign investments to Portugal, specifically to Madeira, or mostly in particular to Madeira. I've actually worked for about 18 years in the entity that is still today the government entity in charge of promoting the International Business Center of Madeira. And for the past 10 years, I joined NewCo, and we are actively promoting and assisting investors and expats relocating in Portugal, and particularly in Madeira.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Moving on to another comparison, which I touched on earlier, with the free zones in the UAE, the 45 or so free zones in the UAE. I'm just thinking that, yes, there's a 5%, whereas in the UAE right now, depending on your circumstances, I know it's quite nuanced. It's 9%, but it could be 0, but it could be 9. So that makes Madeira kind of interesting. But of course, on the flip side, the employees aren't tax-free as they would be in the UAE. But conversely,
but they have to live there, right? The employees of the company.
They'll have to live there. And of course, if it is that you have any interaction with the EU or certain EU jurisdictions, then you're faced with the fact that the UAE still is not, it's on the non-cooperative jurisdiction list. I mean, not just at the EU level, but with certain countries, for example.
In that case of Portugal, for
instance. Or Spain,
or Spain, yes.
It's on that list. So in that case, if it is, not just the EU, but just in terms of banking as well, because the banks traditionally in the Gulf area aren't necessarily your top tier banks globally. And sometimes the facilities available may not be the same as they would be with a European or American bank. And then, of course, the transfers, they're subject to enhanced, due diligence because it's coming from a non-cooperative jurisdiction.
Yes.
So there's some banking challenges. So in other words, there are some use cases where, hold on, it may be more interesting to consider setting up shop, no shell company,
definitely,
but actually setting up shop in Madeira. Have you seen that, or have you seen inquiries to that effect especially since the UAE introduced that 9%?
Definitely. And well, as you mentioned, the rules, the level playing field everything is becoming more harmonized. And in the beginning, it was very difficult to promote Madeira internationally. That's because we had substance requirements and nobody else had it. But as we're seeing, and the evolution and the future will most definitely bring more and more requirements on all other jurisdictions. The 9% corporate tax rate in the UAE is an example, but I'm sure there will be other differences and requirements, and substance requirements in particular. So nowadays, the Madeira is a transparent, credible jurisdiction. If you are willing to take to make the investments that are required in terms of substance, namely. And it makes all the difference, I would say, in the future from an operational perspective. And we see clients more and more increasingly, and in the most recent years, certainly, that want to understand and compare, and that want to take advantage of the image, of the credibility, but also of the practical aspects of being in an EU country. The banking system in Portugal, it's very good. So we are witnessing that, definitely.
Okay.
And I think the trend will continue to grow in the future.
Definitely, as you say, as that harmonization process continues, I think as you said, it's inevitable, I believe. Yeah.
So if you're a 6, 7, or 8-figure investor, entrepreneur, or business owner who needs a tailor-made solution from a qualified team of professionals, we can help you achieve the international lifestyle, the freedom, and even the tax savings you're looking for. Visit us at htj.tax and live that international life.